And I think that sometimes like if my life is on an upward trajectory, then what I want that me time to do is still be moving upward, not pause or go backward. But I think it's easy to either pause or give in to the urge to backslide a little bit, and do it under the guise of quote unquote me time.
Right.
And so I think that, I have to be very careful with how I choose. Like, I usually here's how I know the difference. I think sometimes is like I usually have to go out of my way to create substantial me time, right? Like positive me time, where it's like, okay, I need to let a couple people know that I'm gonna go camping. I'm gonna go, off into the woods for an overnight, this day or this day, which means I also have to do a bunch of extra work through the week so that I have that time available, so that I don't have any obligations that I'm missing out on by taking that time. I got to let Brianna know just in case she has certain things planned, yada, yada, yada. I have to try to make that time available, right? With the intention of getting away, connecting, reconnecting, recharging, whatever the case is, right? But then there's other times where it's like I'm presented with a moment where, hey, Brianna's going out of town, and hey, I have all this time to myself, and I mean, I have obligations here or there, but they can wait. Like, they're probably okay.
I
Like,
need some me time.
I need some me time, and that has a very different energy and feel. Like, if I'm taking spontaneous me time, it's probably a step backwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So like if I've convinced myself that just because I'm given a bunch of time to choose as I will with, if I decide to take quote unquote me time with that, it's usually not going to be used to a healthy advantage, in my experience, anyways.
So would you say that me time is planned time? Like, what you plan for it?
Well, would you say that the me time you take every morning is planned?
Yeah, I would.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, your camp, like your kind of like your walkabout or your camping
Right.
experience. That was a plan. I mean, you plan that out like a week in advance, or
maybe not as much planned as it is intention, right?
Yeah.
Like the intention I put behind that time.
Yes.
Has to be advertent. I have to know going into it what my intentions are and what I hope to get out of it. As opposed to, oh fuck, here we are. I got like 4 hours before Brianna's gonna be home. Sounds like a good opportunity to masturbation, porn. What do I have in the fridge?
Cookie.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because nobody's gonna be around. It's just time to myself. Like, nobody's gonna judge me because nobody else is around, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these are I say all this and I feel like these are the thoughts of an addict alcoholic, right? Like, I think that I'm gonna enjoy all this time to myself and that nobody's gonna judge me because nobody else is around, and that I won't have to tell anybody. And then I do it and it never has the result that I think it's gonna have.
I just don't feel that recharged.
Right. Like, turns out that wasn't actually what I needed.
Yeah.
But I find myself in those situations, and I find myself justifying that action by saying, like you said, I deserve this. I work so hard, do all these things. Like,
Which is true.
Yeah, it's not untrue, but it's like, but this isn't the break that I deserve.
It's definitely not the payoff that you wanted.
It's definitely not. It doesn't have the desire that I need, or it doesn't have the result that I need. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it ends up just being more of a negative thing.
Yeah.
And more stuff to work through.
Yeah, and then what comes out of that is more resentment, right? Like, what was it, about a month ago that you took your last camp trip, right? And it came after a seriously long week, like a lot of work. We dropped some extra shit on you for the podcast that you weren't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up taking longer. Like you started getting overwhelmed, stressed out. And that started creating resentment in you inadvertently, right? I mean, we talked about all this stuff. Started creating negative feelings, and that's where this all kind of started coming up. Was you went to the woods, you took that time away with intention,
right,
to kind of check yourself, have a conversation with yourself, recharge, back up, take a look at things from the mountaintop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so that you can get a better view of everything, and then come back down with a plan of attack.
Right.
Right. And that seems like a wise, noble use of your me time.
Right.
Like that's very respectable because you came out of that a much better person. And even though it's come back around to where that may be time again, you know, that's because that's what happens.
Right.
Right. We come back, we're recharged, we take back on our own responsibilities, we start doing the things that we were doing before, you know, maybe a little better, maybe a little different. The feelings start coming back. We start getting overwhelmed. We start taking more than we can chew. You know, we start feeling all those things, and then we start looking for something to blame. Oh, well, it couldn't be because I took on too much. I don't know how to say no.
Yeah,
It couldn't be
right.
this or that, you know, but that's what ends up happening. We get stuck. We end up backing ourselves into a corner, and it's not like... And it doesn't even have to be these negative things, right? It can be taking on too many positive actions, and we get just too much on our plate, and we end up getting backed into a corner, and all of a sudden we're overwhelmed and don't really know what to do. It's probably a good idea to step back, go get on top of the mountain, right? Like do that thing so that we can come back down and reprioritize. Okay, these are the things that matter. I remember now. Here's how I'm going to attack this. Because if we don't, the resentment will fucking destroy us.
Right.
Ultimately, I have to remember that I have that thing that we talk about all the time.
Oh, yeah. The mind that wants to kill me.
The mind that wants to fucking kill me.
Right. And the brain that
Yeah.
keeps me alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, like, and if I may just really quick, because you talk about how I went on this spiritual quest, and this is another indicator that, oh yeah, I'm definitely an addict, alcoholic, fucking compulsive overeater, or whatever you want to call it, right? Is because literally and seriously, on my way up there was a huge debate going on inside my brain of just, why don't you just get a hotel room and you know, stop and like just get like a pizza and some M&Ms.
It's me time.
Yeah, that's the me time that you
Do
need.
it, Cameron. Just do it.
Yeah, you know, like, and even when I was up there, right, and like, and you know, like I sort of go all out, and I tend to just build a shelter and stay. You know, I try and talk myself out of that stuff and be like, it's not too late. It's not too late to just pack all this shit up, find a hotel room, like, or maybe you can just go home and like sneak in. Brianna will be sleeping. You can fucking just watch TV, and it's like, that's, and again, you know, a good reminder that that's still alive and that I'm doing the right thing. Really,
Yeah.
Like, if I'm met with that much resistance, it must be because I'm doing the right thing.
You're gonna level up.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's amazing to me sometimes, and there are some times where I can step back and see that happening, that action occurring in my brain, and laugh about it, and then there's other times where I start really questioning it.
It's really cunning.
It's
tricky.
convincing. Yeah,
It's a
It's tricky.
motherfucker.
yeah. So it's
The justifications seem legit. Yeah.
well, and
So-
it's like, why would I think that's going to help?
Yeah. Why,
It never
why
has
do you?
before.
You know what I
It
mean?
never did before, did it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.